Oh no, poor Hanako. That's so cute. Act 2, hide and seek. Dang. That was so cute, you know, the moment where like where you actually, I feel like that makes so much sense, that particular scene where you saw like Hanako standing in the middle. She was just standing still and all these people just like keep walking past her and just like moving very, very fast. And it feels like, you know, a lot of those people like don't even acknowledge Hanako, but then there's that one person that's standing still for her as well and just recognizing her, actually waving to her, and that's Hisao, of course. That really sums up how I feel like how people sort of look at Hanako. You know, like they, not necessarily that they don't even give her a second look or something like that, but it's just like people are sort of like actively trying to avoid her, whereas Hisao was the only one that tries to, you know, actually get to know her, talk to her, try to approach her, even though it's a more difficult thing than it would be with other people, but he still does it compared to other people, so dang. Alright, let's continue with Act 2 of the Hanako route. My alarm blares into my ears, only to be swiftly silenced by my fist. My body switches into auto mode, carrying my subconscious self out of bed and into my uniform. As always, my bottles of pills sit on my desk patiently, waiting for me to take them and pick out my daily dosage of medicine. 17 pills a day. Holy crap. How do you do it? 17 a day. Oh my god. After the first try, I'd be like, yeah, oh my god, I've had enough of this. I'll just choke on all my pills or something. 17. Well, obviously he doesn't take them all at once, but still 17. Wow. Before I know it, I'm opening the door to class 3-3. Glad to see I'm not the only one who seems to be a little hung over from festival week. Every face in the classroom looks gaunt. With the festival now over, it's as if everyone's life dreams have been achieved. With nothing left to live for, the students have relied on instincts alone to guide them to class. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I slowly make my way to my seat, and it's only then that I realize why the room is so peaceful. The seats beside mine are blissfully empty. The world's loudest interpreter for the deaf has yet to arrive. I shouldn't have said anything, Hisao. And just as I'm about to sit down, the door flies open, revealing a resplendent Misha, drills bobbing from the dramatic entrance and arms stretched towards the sky. Yahoo! It's all over! It would appear that not everyone is affected by the post-festival depression. The rest of the class glare at her, obviously thinking the same thing I am. Misha, still frozen in the doorway with her arms still in the air, nervously looks around. It's obvious that she senses the foul mood, but can't work out exactly what to do. Suddenly, she jerks forward. Hey! As she stumbles into the classroom, she reveals Shizune, arms still extended from where she moved Misha. Thanks for the entertainment, but shouldn't you two take your seats? Still slightly embarrassed, Misha takes a few seconds to realize she has to translate. Oh yeah, Shi-chan says she's not happy with you ditching us last week. We were really busy. Is that so? What about the stuff I already did for you two? She says that only counts for council members. Since you declined, She doesn't owe you anything. Misha leans closer and whispers conspiratorially into my ear. Actually, I think she's just a little sore that she didn't spend the day with her. She getting a little bit jealous? Don't worry, Shizune, you're after this. She's really thankful for your work last week, though. Sensing that she is being talked about, Shizune lightly wraps her fingers on her desk until Misha turns around to face her. I can't understand any of the fast-paced signing that's going on, but from Shizune's slightly embarrassed expression and Misha's poorly contained laughter, I can guess. While this exchange is happening, the door opens once again, but this time at a much more reasonable pace. Oh, Hanako. Oh. Hanako quietly enters the room and pulls the door closed behind her. Peering out from under her hair, she quickly scans the classroom. Our eyes meet, and she suddenly stiffens. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and then walks over to my desk, like she's mentally preparing for something. Good morning, Hisao. Did she really have to prepare Hisao is there, okay, we gotta say good morning. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. You can do this, Hanako. Good morning, Hanako. You're a little late, aren't you? I was talking to Lily about today. So you've got her listed in? We can leave straight after classes in that case. Sure. I'm looking forward to it. Hanako briefly flashes her embarrassed smile at me, then hurries off to her seat. I'm surprised Shizune or Misha didn't make a comment about that at all. During classes, it becomes apparent that it's not only the students that are a little despondent after the festival. Muto simply gives us a list of exercises from the textbook and then sits behind his desk. I totally forget about the brief lunch period for a moment. Such is the banality of the day. It's mind-numbing, and everyone seems surprised when the bells signal the end of the lessons. As I am packing up my bags, Shizune and Misha flank and entrap me. Oh my god, they're ganking me, come on. See, Hee-chan, it's still not too late to join up. There's a lot of post-festival paperwork for us to complete. Wow, you are so convincing, Misha. The moment you brought up the paperwork, I was like, oh, where do I sign up? Sorry, Misha. I got plans. As if sensing the cue, Hanako appears behind me, holding a small bag and trying to avoid eye contact with the outside world. Misha's eyes open wide, and then she bursts into laughter. You move fast, don't you, Hee-chan? We won't disturb your date any further. Behind the roaring Misha, I see Shizune taking far too little interest in the scene. I might be taking this the wrong way, but I think she's deliberately ignoring me. Shizune is angry. I feel a gentle tug on my shirt and turn to see Hanako's eyes fixed firmly onto the floor. Let's... Gotcha. Shizune, Misha, I'll see you later. And I'm still not interested in the council. Spoil sport! Alright, it's Hanako time. Misha and Shizune retreat into the hallway, happily singing or signing to each other. Would be different if they were singing to each other. Got all your stuff? Let's head off. Floods of students pour out of the school gates and onto the road into town. It's a little weird. It's almost a scene from any other high school, but the illusion fades because of the occasional wheelchair or missing limb. It's like, yeah, if you can look past all that, it's exactly like any other high school. But that's the hardest part, looking past the wheelchair and the missing limbs. One thing I do notice is that nobody is alone. And as Hanako and I pass through the gates, I notice that she closes the distance between us. That's alright, you can hold my arm or my hand, Hanako. It's fine. I will guide you. not enough to be considered close, but she certainly isn't at her usual, just a little far position. I guess we're not familiar enough for her to get as close as she does with Lily. However, even though she has moved a little closer to me physically, mentally, she seems to have traveled a mile. Her hands clutched around the leather straps of her bag to the point of whitening her knuckles, her head down, and her mouth pursed closed. She almost looks like she's being walked to the principal's office for the first time. I tried to stifle a giggle at the thought, but it's futile. What's the matter? I guess there's no point in hiding it. Sorry. For a second there, it looked like you were getting in trouble. What do you mean? I think you need to relax a little. We're not going to go too far, and it's only students around, right? Right. It bothers me a little to see Hanako so worked up. And you do this every week, don't you? Yes, with Lily. Of course, with Lily. I wonder if she has ever left the school without her. It doesn't seem like much at first glance, but Hanako's dependence on Lily is absurdly heavy. If she can't even handle leaving the school without her, how would she even manage to survive if the two had never met? Would she have found someone else to latch onto? And what drew her to Lily? Was it her lack of eyesight? Or was Lily just kind enough to lend a hand? I think partly that she was kind enough to lend a hand, and also that mother figure, you know? That's that mother nature thingy, that mother nature. Just, you know, the natural way that Lily is really like a motherly person, you know? So she always takes care of Hanako. I wonder if anyone would have fit the bill. Well, I'm here. Besides, we're not going too far. It'll be over before you know it. Hanako's knuckles slowly regain their color as she tries to hide a small smile, but the effort of that seems to prevent further conversation. We travel, side by side, down the winding road towards the town. The crowd of students thins as we continue along the sidewalk. Faster students rush ahead, and the less mobile ones fall behind, rarefying the crowd into nothingness. By the time we reach the convenience store, we are practically alone. Using me as a shield between herself and the attendant, Hanako moves through the narrow aisles, adding an assortment of items to her basket. Bread, milk, tea, thyme? Oh, she bought that last time too, when Hanako couldn't go, but then we went on the shopping trip together with Lily instead of Hanako, and then we bought the groceries for Hanako to then deliver to her house. She has an obsession with time or something. What is time? Time is like it's sort of like, you know, like I almost said origami, what the fuck? Like those leaves that you add to food or drink or whatever to add flavor, you know, something like mint or oregano. I don't fucking know. I don't know shit about food. Herbs, that's what it is, right? I think, kinda. What kind of convenience store sells herbs? Then again, nothing about this town seems normal, which may not be such a bad thing in retrospect. Everything is so different and uncomfortable. Dwelling on such matters isn't really an option. When I think about that, it reminds me of Hanako. No matter how much you try, you can't escape her scars. They still interrupt my train of thought when I see them. As much as I don't want to admit it to myself, I think I'm forcing myself to try to ignore them. Not that I am scar-free myself. The jagged line down my sternum will never completely fade away. I just have the luxury of being able to hide it easily. But, in a way, both of our scars remind me that we're all in this place for a reason. Hanako throws one last item into her basket and sheepishly holds it out to me, along with a few banknotes. Could you please? It takes me a second to understand what she's trying to say. Don't worry, we'll pay for you. Oh, you want me to pay for this? Alright, I'll take a 10% cut though. No, I'm just joking. She nods, but doesn't look up. I guess this task falls to Lily on the usual occasions. Sure, let me just grab a couple of things. You're paying, Hanako. Hastily, I grab a few essential items for myself and head for the counter, with Hanako close in tow. The attendant gives me an indifferent nod as he scans in the items. I suppose just ignoring us is one way to deal with the anomalies of Yamaku. They must get a lot of students here, being the closest store to the school. The staff must all have their own way of dealing with us. Or maybe they don't. Maybe it's only me who thinks twice about my unique schoolmates. Our transaction complete, Hanako and I head back out onto the street. The road is pretty much abandoned now. The students that were heading out have already left, and nobody has started returning just yet. And with only the school ahead on the road, there doesn't seem to be anyone else around. The emptiness certainly reflects on Hanako, her arms by her sides, each carrying a bag, her head no longer bowed, and back to the upright position. That's right, girl, confidence. It's almost as if she were enjoying this walk. So, why all these weird things? Mixed spice? Why would you need that in school? I'm pretty sure she can cook. I sometimes like to make food. Well, yeah, so do I, but spices? That's a little more advanced, don't you think? And why does he think that? Like, what, spices? Are you even good enough to use spices, Hanako? Like, that's a little condescending, right? Obviously, if she buys spices, then she knows what to do with them. Therefore, even if you think it's for the more advanced, that must mean that she is probably an advanced person in terms of cooking, right? Not really. Well, I think it's cool. You'll have to teach me one day. I guess he only just sort of said that to, you know, to get the conversation going with Hanako. Sure. I'm pretty sure he didn't mean it in like an offending way or whatsoever. But I just found it funny that he said it like, that's an advanced thing. Are you sure you can handle it? She doesn't seem all that sure, but pushing the point doesn't seem all that wise. At the very least, she seems a great deal happier than she did on the walk down here. That alone makes me a little happier. Outside the girls' dorm, Hanako and I sort out the grocery bags with our respective purchases. In comparison, my things look positively plain. I tell you, you're putting me to shame here. No, I'm not. I'm only joking. I have a stack of homework that I skipped last week, so I must leave now. Will you be alright getting that to your room? Yeah. Hisao, come on, you gotta be a gentleman. At least see her off at her door. Sure? Okay then. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. We part ways, and I return to my room. Piles of paper sit upon my desk, begging to be completed. With the entire ruckus of the last week, I've barely had any time to catch up. I tried to keep up with my studies while I was in the hospital, but some of this stuff I've never seen before. Even back in my old school. Totally unprepared, I pop the top of a can of soda or can of drink and get to work. The days are really starting to heat up. Oh yeah, with all the homework. This morning, I awoke covered in sweat. By the time the student body starts leaving their dorms for breakfast and morning duties, the sun has taken full effect. Oddly, that puts me in high spirits. It's not even 8, yet I feel like this day is going to be one of those pleasant, tranquil, warm ones. If I weren't at the school that considered every absence from class as a sign of a life-threatening situation, I'd consider skipping the whole day and just relaxing in the school gardens. That's true, in any normal school, if a person doesn't show up to school, you just think like, oh, they're either just, they have a flu, they're a little bit sick or whatever, or they're skipping or whatever, But here, if you skip, they actually, the conclusions people will think of are probably like way higher and way more dangerous, because that's just sort of the situation. Like, people here, like, for example, with Hisao, right, he couldn't forget to take one out of his 17 pills, and then he ends up missing school tomorrow because he's got another heart attack, so that makes it actually kind of unlikely to be able to skip. Yeah, today will be a genuinely lazy day. That's every day for me. For a second, I stop in mid-stretch and consider the nurse's warning about exercise. Maybe I should have kept up those morning jogs. Running with someone like Emmy might have been a little testing, but if I worked at my own pace, then you're not gonna end up with Hanako. Who am I kidding? I couldn't stick to something like that without some kind of motivation. It's not like I sit around all day. The walk to and from the convenience store counts as exercise, right? Especially the walk back up the hill, yeah, and the walk from your place to class as well, and from class to the roof, or are they going to eat at the roof? No, to the tea place, That's exercise too. Every movement that I make with my body, that's exercise. Yeah, it's no big deal. Compared to months lying in a hospital bed, I'm getting plenty exercise. That's true. In comparison to laying in bed for a couple of months straight, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing, right? If you always compare something, even if it's very like, I ate one piece of rice grain, right? I ate 1 grain of rice today, in comparison to someone that ate nothing at all. Yeah, that's a lot. But then in comparison to someone who ate a normal meal, 1 grain of rice is almost nothing. Shouldn't say nothing, because that's what the other dude ate, It seems that I'm not alone in my appreciation of the day. Nearly every member of the class is glancing through the window and into the tantalizing sky. Even the steadfast Shizune seems to lack her usual vigor for schoolwork. Misha, as brazen as ever, has even unbuttoned the top buttons of her shirt and is fanning herself with a notebook. Oh, Misha, calm down, girl. I must have been staring, as she's now sticking her tongue out at me. However, she shows no sign of halting her efforts, nor is she trying to hide the facts. The lunch bells seem to catch everyone by surprise, and the class empties at a much slower pace than usual. The heat seems to be draining the need to rush from everyone. Well, almost everyone. Hisao? Hey there, Hanako. What can I do for you today? Hanako already has a lunch bag in hand. I don't have to be a detective to work out where this is going. Oh. Would you like to have lunch with us again? I brought enough for everyone. Whatever she made for us, it has to involve the spices, right? Just to show Hisao, like, yeah, look, Hisao, I'm an expert after all, I know how to use the spices. Awesome. You don't have to be so stiff about it, though. Oh, dude, come on, Hisao. Like, I understand that, like, in comparison to most other people, that he is, this is obviously just because Hisao is still fairly new here, right? He's not used to people sort of acting like this, because he's used to normal people, and oh my god, that actually makes it sound like Hanako is like a freak or something, which he obviously is not, but like, in comparison to normal people, oh my god, I make it sound so bad. I'm sorry, Hanako, I didn't mean it like that. But it's just that Hisao is more, he's not used to this environment yet, and how people, because of their disabilities, or just, because of how different they are, that also means that they usually act very differently too. And she's just, you could always just tell that she's very timid, she's very scared, and the fact that she approached us here now, right? But that's because we already have knowledge from before, when we played the Lily route, where Hanako was involved. Like, we know that that's just how she is, and it's kind of hard for her to approach people on their own or even talk to other people, where she's normally really comfortable just, staying away from people and just like, okay, I'm just, gonna sit quietly, read my book, and don't talk with anyone. The fact that she came to us means a lot, but then he makes a comment like this where you're just like, come on, Hisao, you didn't have to say that. Ah, right. I take it we're going to the tea room. Like, I know what he's sort of trying to do, perhaps, Like, he's trying to make her feel more comfortable around him. But I feel like that's something you shouldn't really say. I think that if you just, over time, get closer with Hanako, it'll happen naturally, rather than just saying, yeah, just relax around me. Don't worry. I'm not gonna do anything, okay? I don't bite, It's one of those things where it's like, the fact that you have to tell someone to relax around you makes me even more uncomfortable if someone would say that to me, Yeah, don't worry. Relax, man. Relax. I'm not gonna do anything. That just makes me suspicious when that person says that to me. Please. Lily said she'll meet us in there. So we should go ahead together. Sounds like a plan. This heat has made me pretty hungry. Hanako breathes a sigh of relief, and I gather my things together. As usual, the aura of the tea room is refreshing, feeling isolated from the rest of the world. Then again, the usual din of the school seems to be a bit subdued, most likely from the laziness prompted by heat exhaustion. Hanako slowly spreads her food on the table, intently focusing on every little movement, as if she's trying to keep her mind off other thoughts. It's not much, but I can tell from her demeanor that she has prepared everything with the utmost care. I guess Lily isn't here yet. Should we start without her? She'll be here soon. Hanako struggles with the lid of the container of rice. Dang, she even brought rice. Oh my god, Hanako, be my waifu right now. Here, let me help you with that. I take the container from Hanako's hands and try to force open the lid. Try as I might, it seems wedged shut. Let me guess. Did you put this in while the rice was still hot? It expanded. Yes. I was in a rush. I put the container on the table between us. I thought so. It looks like this is wedged shut. We'll need to get some hot water to get it open. But that could be a pain in here. We get water everywhere. Well, in that case, how about I contribute to today's meal? Lily has arrived. At the door, Lily smiles while holding up a bag stocked with various buns and bread rolls. I can't help but do the same. Brioche buns? Does she have brioche buns? Since you two had a change of plans because of me, I thought I would bring a little something. Thanks, Lily. Here, let me get that for you. With a little guidance, Lily's bread assortment joins Hanako's riceless platter. I hastily make some tea to complete the picture. Well, I'm looking forward to this. As I take a bite, I notice Hanako trying her hardest to not look like she's looking at me. It's nothing special, but then again, I can't really complain. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to cooking for myself. What? You said it's nothing special? You should just say, oh wow, this is really good, Hanako. Not bad. I guess this was made with the stuff you bought yesterday. Yes, even the spices. Hanako's eyes shout at me, begging for some kind of feedback. Well, it was clearly worth it. Thanks, Hanako. I wanted to show you this. After yesterday, oh yeah, that's the spirit, Hanako. Hanako was like, oh, are you doubting my ability, Hisao? I'll show you the food that I can make. It's okay. I was just a little surprised at the stuff you were buying. Hanako's always like to experiment when it comes to food. I think it's good. Most of the time. While Lily's smile doesn't waver, the slight change in her tone tells me that things have not gone so well in the past. And it's not like Hanako has many people to sample her cooking. Hang on, was Lily waiting for me to go first? She didn't start eating until after I said it was alright. I see what you did there, Lily. Because I'm the newest addition to the group, I feel like we've become the guinea pig now instead of Lily when it comes to Hanako's food. Her cheeky grin tells me that this was a deliberate action on her part. I'll have to try and work out how to get one over on her in the future to make up for this. Oh, I know how to get our revenge. Get with Hanako. That's not much of a revenge. Well, it's good. And that's all that counts, right? Right. Lily, satisfied at not being the first to sample Hanako's creation, begins to consume the food in front of her. I find myself staring as I watch her chopsticks gently touch the plate, their tips delicately poking and tracing to quickly ascertain the positions of the food as she dexterously picks it up. One might think she were a child playing with her food, if not for the situation, though she does it with such care and thoughtlessness that it's obvious that this is simply how she eats this kind of meal. Not wanting to miss out, I start filling up myself. Hanako takes a different approach, waiting until Lily and I have our hands clear before quickly snatching up her share. Before long, the containers are empty, save for the still shut rice container. Thank you, Hanako. That was filling. No, thank you for the bread. Yes, it would have been a disaster if not for that. You're both welcome. Well, I wouldn't call it a disaster. Well, we have no rice and no bread. This is a disaster. This is the worst meal I've ever had. But now, I must be getting back. It's far too easy to be late after eating here. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think we'll just clean up here and then head off. Well then, good day. Lily leaves, her cane tapping away down the quiet hallway. Hanako and I quickly pack our things and stay seated, waiting for the bell. Together, we stare out the window and into the endless azure sky. If it weren't for the pealing of the bells, I would have sworn that time had stopped. The urge to skip class rises in my gut. Is it me, or is Hisao turning in a bit of a rebel in this route? This is twice now where he's thinking about skipping class. I shoot a glance at Hanako, who shows no signs of moving either. Not just yet. The interval between the warning bells and the end of lunch bells passes in the blink of an eye. We really should go. People will freak out and start a search party if we skip. The thing is, Hanako skips a lot as well, right? Hanako sighs. You're right. Yeah, Hanako always used to skip a lot of school. At least, she did it in the beginning of the Lily route a little bit, but later on when both due to Hisao and Lily and just like how close they got, she actually tried much harder in school and started studying for the tests a lot, and she showed up during class much more often as well. But during the other two routes, Emmy and Rin, even though with the Rin routes you don't see her that much in class, and Emmy either, because they're both in different classes, right? Or not? I think they are. I'm not entirely sure. I've forgotten already, but I noticed that in those two routes in particular, Hanako was actually skipping a lot. Slowly, she rises to her feet and I follow suit. Silently, we make our way up the old stairs to the 3rd floor and then to our classroom. At the door, I take point and open the door ahead of Hanako, bowing my head down, an apology in advance. I'm sorry we're late, teacher. I am greeted not by stern words, nor by an angered instruction to take my seat, but simply by the silence created by 15 or so students, trying not to laugh. Muto, ever tardy, has yet to arrive. However, the fact that Hanako and I arrived together is blatantly obvious. Make that about 14 students trying and 1 student failing. Oh. The lovers return. Yeah, thanks. You can calm down now. I stepped through the door and realized that Hanako was firmly pressed against my back, hiding herself from the class. I just feel so bad for her. Poor Hanako. Like, if I were, I would just give her a hug, make all the problems in the world go away. Only for the duration of the hug, of course. My hugs aren't magical, okay? They're pretty good hugs, but they're not magical. They can't make all the problems in the world go away forever. With my steps coming closer to my desk, she eventually breaks from me and stiffly walks to her own. Her efforts to mentally block everyone's presence from her mind are written fairly clearly on her face. Quickly checking the door for any signs of the teacher's arrival, I make a trip to Hanako's desk and whisper in her ear, "Don't worry about Misha. She's always like this. I enjoyed myself today. Don't sweat it, okay?" Hanako nods her head behind her folded arms, but still doesn't show her face. I yearn to stay and console her more, but Muto picks this exact moment to enter the class, halfway through his lecture, as he started it in the hallway, or as if. Which, of course, is directly proportional to the charge, but inversely proportional to the square of the distance. He's so engrossed in his speech that he doesn't even notice me sneaking back into my seat from Hanako's desk. While Muto's spiel rambles on, Misha leans over to me. "The teacher may not have noticed your tardiness, but I did. That much is obvious from the show that you just put on. I have been instructed to let you off the hook for today, but only on one condition." "Oh? And what would that be?" "You have to help us this afternoon." "Oh, that's blackmail, Misha. That's blackmail." I crane my neck to look over Misha's shoulder. Shizune is conveniently not making eye contact with her. That's gotta be Shizune's plan. "Fine. Just for today. I've already told you I'm not joining the council, remember?" "Of course. Doing so could be considered... She looks down at her notebook, obviously looking for her place in her script. "Under juris, and hence would be against regulations." How very strange of you to be considerate of the regulations now. "Things should be done by the book. It's just that the book hasn't been written for every situation, so there are times when it can be ignored." And yet, you two wonder why no one else wants to be in the student council. After poking her tongue out at me, Misha returns to her workbook, and we battle our way through the latter half of the school day. Ding dong. Holy crap, they just showed up like instantly in front of us, like, oh, what is it? Like the second the school bell rang, just like, okay, it's time. Come with us, Hisao. Before I can even stand up, Misha and Shizune have placed their hands on both of my shoulders and just dragging us away. "Hey, I said I'd help out. Damn. This is just insurance, Hisao. Insurance." "Hisao, help me, Hanako. I'm being kidnapped." Hanako timidly tries to leave the room by circling around us, and I suddenly realize that this may be my only chance to escape. Oh yes. "Oh, hey Hanako. What's up?" "Hey, what makes you think you've got time to chat?" "Oh, relax. This won't take long. Sorry, Hanako. You were saying?" I was going to go to the library, and I thought..." Hanako's thumbs dance around each other, and her eyes flit around the room, looking everywhere but at us. "Sorry, Hanako, but Hisao has to come with us. He's got work to do." "Oh, but you can help too if you'd like." No, don't you dare drag Hanako into this. Hanako, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. "So, How about it, Hisao? Oh my god, what do we do? What do you think, Hanako? I've done enough work for the council already. Honestly, I just kind of want to blow them off, they'll get their chance. They will get their, their Hisao time later in Shizune's route. Right now, it's Hanako time, okay? So I think I'm gonna go with the fact that I've done enough work for the council already. I mean, I just find it I find it so difficult and hard to say no to Hanako, because we know how difficult it is sort of for her to approach someone, right? I mean, yeah, you can definitely tell that Hanako is getting more and more comfortable around Hisao, but still, she's the one actually, inviting Hisao to all these things, like, Hisao, we're gonna go for lunch, do you want to come with us? Like, you can still sort of feel that shyness and a little bit of uncomfortableness when she's asking, but she is still the person asking us, right? It doesn't matter how kind of awkward it may seem a little bit and how hard it is for her to get the words out. She is still the one asking us, so that takes a lot of courage, and I just can't blow that off, so I gotta go with Hanako for this one. Hey, Shizune, I know I said I'd help, but I forgot I'd already made plans, dang it, Besides, I helped out more than my fair share last week, didn't I? I promise I'll make it up to you some other time. Uh-oh, she angry. Shizune and Misha release their grip on me and have a long, deep, and silent conversation, especially silent. Well, you have a point there. To be honest, we're only going to spend the rest of the budget on cakes. Why didn't you tell me earlier about the cakes, huh? So, if you're not there, it works out better. More cake for us. Oh my god, she should have told me earlier about the cake. I want cake. I really want cake now. Hanako, are we gonna buy some cake in the library? Damn it. Shizune about faces and marches out of the door, and Misha skips out after her. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Last week, those two were like bloodhounds, or prison guards. Or maybe prison guards bred from bloodhounds. I can't believe I just thought that, let alone saying it out loud. I think I need to move away from Kenji. Never mind. Anyway, should we go to the library? Sure. Hanako follows me through the still crowded halls to the library, using me as a shield. I'm like a bodyguard for her, like, alright people, VIP coming through, move out of the way, Hanako is in the building, get out of the way people. As soon as we are through the door, Hanako bolts from the counter, where Yuko is stacking books. Before I can catch up, Hanako has whispered something to her. You'd find that in a non-fiction, but I don't know where exactly. If you want, I can look it up. Never mind. Hey Yuko, what's all this about? Oh, Hisao. Hanako was just looking for a book on... nothing. A book on nothing? In the non-fiction section? I was just... I shoot a glance at Yuko. She looks like she's about to burst from the pressure of keeping Hanako's request a secret. Yuko, what did... Chess. She's looking for a chess book. Oh, Hanako wants revenge. She wants revenge. She's like, you beat me one time. I'm never gonna let that happen again. I make a mental note to never entrust Yuko with any important information. Yuko. I'm sorry, Hanako. It just slipped out. Well, it's not a secret anymore. Come on, I'll give you a hand. I should really brush up on my skills, too. Okay. Yuko disappears behind the counter in shame as Hanako and I wander into the depths of the non-fiction section. I know there's supposed to be a system for categorizing these books, but I don't really see how anyone can decipher it without spending half of their life researching it. That's probably why all the librarians I know are neurotic. Towards the end of the aisle, between a book on card tricks and some books on kids' games, stands a single book bearing the title Chess tactics for champions, Before I can reach for it, Hanako has the book in her hands, clutching it to her chest. Well, I guess that's yours then. Mind if I borrow it when you're finished? She's like, oh no, this is my book. These are going to be my tactics. I'm going to be a champion, not you, Hisao. Sure. I just haven't really played against anyone but Lily before. So I thought... Damn. It's not like I was trying to beat Hanako deliberately or anything, but she seems to have taken it to heart. But it's kind of awesome to see that despite the fact that she seems such a timid person, I feel like she's actually rather competitive, you know? Because she was like, when we were sort of telling her like, or we're kind of a little bit surprised about the ingredients she bought for cooking, she was like, oh, I'll show you. And she really wanted to prove to us the fact that she actually could cook, you know? And with Now Chess as well, the fact that we beat her, she actually just wants to prove like, okay, I actually want to get better at this. So I feel like behind that, you know, scared look that she has, she's actually a very competitive person. Then again, at least this means she wants to play with me again. That's a plus, right? Ha. Well, it's not like I'm a master or anything. I just played a bit before. It occurs to me that I haven't told Hanako about my condition. I falter for a second, deciding to cover my tracks. That is a conversation for another day. Before I came here... Are you alright? Yeah, I was just remembering something. When I think about it, I shouldn't be afraid to tell Hanako about my condition and my time in the hospital. Judging by her scars, she probably spent a fair amount of time in a hospital bed. But for some reason, I can't bring it up. At least not today, and not on short notice. I mean, I can understand. It's one of those things that you know, for most people at least, it's not something you just blurt out and like accidentally, like, oops, you know, oh, sorry, I just accidentally just mentioned that I have a heart problem thingy. Especially for people like who are very vulnerable with that and who are not easy to talk about, it's not something they just say on a whim. It's something they actually sort of have to prepare beforehand, just like, okay, I'm gonna say that today or say it at this point to this person, you know. It's not something that you just throw it out there and just like, yeah, okay. Eager to break off the conversation, I grab a random book for the shelf. It's some book on the world's fastest roller coasters. Published in 1982. Well, not very up to date, but it should be at least interesting. Well, we both got books now. Should we go sit down? Hanako seems to accept my bluff, and we head to the reading nook in the back of the library. Oops. Neither of us says a word. We simply open our books and start reading. I try to read my book, but it would seem that in 1982, roller coasters were nearly as large as the ones built in the decade since. Most of the ones listed are made of wood, something that doesn't seem safe to me. I went to, what was it, Six Flags, I believe, here in the Netherlands, and there was one particular roller coaster that was made out of wood, and I think it was called Robin Hood or something. I don't know exactly, but yeah, I felt, compared to especially the ones made out of steel or whatever they're made out of, you know, the ones in wood made me a little bit more uncomfortable, knowing like wood, yeah, like, you know, what if there are termites? Obviously it's probably, you know, they keep a close eye on it, of course, but still, just the fact that, you know, it's made out of less or more fragile material makes you just a little bit worried, at least me. If I'm going to ride on something potentially dangerous, I want it to be made out of steel or some kind of space-age alloy that has big words like titanium and ruthenium. You know, big words, big space-age words. I quickly lose interest, and my eyes wander across the reading area to rest on Hanako. Hanako seems absorbed in her book, flicking back and forth through the pages, as if confirming what she just read. I wonder if that's actually effective, or if she's just overloading herself. She's unconsciously brushing her hair from her face, temporarily revealing her scar tissue. I'm still not sure about the protocol here. Is it right to ask her about her scars? Or her past? How long was she in the hospital? Does she still visit the doctor? These all seem like questions that you'd ask someone who just transferred to your school, translated into the local language. But, to date, no one has directly asked me any of them. Well, except Rin. But I don't think I should use her as a guide to proper social behavior. Not in Yamaku standards for sure. For the time being, I just keep my mouth shut. If someone wants you to know something, then they'll tell you, exactly. Trying to force the issue might drive Hanako back into herself. Sorry to interrupt, but I have to close the library now. Already? Yeah, it's only 8 p.m. I checked my watch. Somehow, as I was lost in thought, nearly 2 hours have passed. Do you want me to check out those books? I can do it on the way out. But please. I'm done. I'll drop this one back on the way through. It wasn't as interesting as I first thought. Hanako marks her place with a slip of paper and stands up. The girl heads to the counter, and I return my book to what I think is the right shelf. Doesn't matter, right? Yuko scans Hanako's book with practiced precision, yet still manages to fumble it. Oh, there we go. Third time lucky. Since this is a non-fiction book, you can only have it for a week. That's okay. Hanako's like, 1 week, that's plenty of time for me to up my skills. Yuko shuts down the library's computer and herds us out of the door. Ah, I didn't think it was this late already. But you're the one that told us you had to close. Yes, but... I know, but that was before I looked at the time. I'll see you later. Okay, bye Yuko. Yuko bolts down the hall, her handbag trailing behind her like an awkward streamer. I guess all librarians really are neurotic. Huh? Never mind. I was just thinking that I've never met a librarian that can organize their time, no matter how good they are with their books. Oh, I know what you mean. Hanako smiles in amusement. It wasn't meant to be a joke, but I must have reminded her of some other librarian or something. I have to get back. Yeah, me too. I didn't realize it was this late. Thanks for letting me hang out with you. No problem. I'm going to my dormitory room now anyway. So, do you mind if I tag along? Okay. Hanako sets off ahead of me, and I need to jog a little to reach her side. We walk through the gardens, eventually arriving in front of the dorm buildings. Man, you walk pretty fast, probably on purpose. I used to play in a soccer club, and you managed to outpace me. I kinda regret saying that. It has less to do with her pace than with the fact that my condition has significantly worsened my fitness. Hanako's reaction is odd. I expected an awkward attempt to downplay her walking speed, but she just blushes while looking at her feet and smiling. Silence hangs in the air between us. That happens often around Hanako, but feels slightly different than usual this time. After a few seconds, I try to break the silence. Here you go. See you in class tomorrow? Sure. Hanako waves a short goodbye before pushing her way through the dorm's doors. I stand and look at them for a while before making my way to my own dormitory room. Dang, I didn't think Hanako would be this competitive, you know? Like, really wanted to show Hisao, like, yeah, look, I can cook, and I'm gonna beat you in chess next time. It's actually really funny. But yeah, we're gonna end this video here. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. And yeah, the Hanako route is turning to be pretty interesting at least. So, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.